A Poland family is reunited in Russia.
And the annual Boston Marathon is set to take place today.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us for ntTV News at Noon. I'm Austin Wright.
And I'm Jalen Jackson. We have a great show for you today.
A Denton High School student shook the judges at the Texas Visual Arts event with a piece she submitted. Focusing on the thoughts and emotions she felt throughout the pandemic, Sophia Lee submitted 361%, a pastel painting reflecting the pain she believes many Asian Americans felt following a string of hate crimes brought about by the pandemic procedures. Lee said, "I knew I wanted to do something that had to do with anti-Asian hate crimes. It all came together in this piece." The painting highlights the pain she felt reflected through generations, with tears and bruises on not just herself, but on her family portraits as well. Lee said she was worried about the piece being disqualified for being too political, but the result was just the opposite. Lee's art piece and other contenders' works can be seen at the Visual Arts Scholastic exhibit at the end of the month in San Marcos.
A nearly $100 million redevelopment of downtown Denton could transform the area by 2025. The new multi-building complex on the square would bring a 10-story, 186-room upper upscale boutique, a 400-space public parking garage, and a 500,000 square foot rooftop entertainment venue to the square. The development would be centered around the Wells Fargo building and the 4 city square blocks surrounding it. While the cost of the project has not been confirmed, COO of Scott Brown Properties said he estimates the cost will be between $75 and $100 million. The Browns development team plans to make a formal presentation to the Planning and Zoning Committee in July after getting the city stamp of approval.
Those new buildings sound exciting. I just hope buildings that big don't block out all the sun.
Maybe we should take a trip later today if the weather is nice. Let's ask our weather anchor, Sydney DeShawn, about it. Sydney?
Well, guys, taking a trip definitely does sound nice, but we are seeing some chillier temperatures than we have in the past. Right now, we are sitting at 64 degrees, and it does feel slightly warmer at 69 with those high wind speeds at 13 miles per hour. Now, moving on to tonight at about 6 p.m., our temperatures are going to warm up. It'll feel like 72 with some lower wind speeds at 10 miles per hour. Now, moving to tomorrow, again, our temperatures are going to be a bit chillier than it has been in the past. We will be sitting at 68 with it feeling like 72 with those high wind speeds at 14 miles per hour. Now, that is all I have for our first look. Make sure to stay with us for our full weather forecast later in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. A Texas city is turning out the lights, not to save power, but to help migrating birds. Zach Tawatari has the details.
Amid the hustle and bustle, you might not realize that League City is buzzing with wildlife. And according to the city's spokesperson, Sarah Osborne, the city isn't just stopping to smell the flowers. They're aiming a little higher.
We started on our birding efforts a couple years ago.
And right now is the perfect time because
every year millions of birds migrate through Texas and they come right through League City.
But this year, in addition to the birding swag that residents get for doing League City's Spring Migration Challenge, the city is taking part in a statewide campaign called Lights Out Texas, urging businesses and residents to turn off all non-essential lights.
And then when we issued the proclamation and they knew and found out, oh wow, I can do these simple things and it actually helps the birds.
Anna Valerie,
and we're seeing communities all across the state join in on this effort,
is a conservation specialist with the Houston Audubon, which partnered with the Cornell Lab of Ornithology to start the campaign in Texas a few years ago.
But we do know that birds are, for some reason, are attracted to artificial light at night. And then once they're attracted to this light, they get really disoriented.
Like the incident that served as the impetus for Lights Out in 2017, where nearly 400 birds collided into a Galveston building and died.
Turning lights out at night is just removing another straw from the camel's back.
And the greater Houston area, it turns out, lies among several of the nation's most frequented flyways used by birds migrating. Glenn Olson is a rice instructor and naturalist.
As they're migrating through, as we've been talking about,
The birds are coming from
Mexico, Central America, and all into South America.
and headed to
Texas, Louisiana, Eastern United States, Western United States, all the way up to Canada to breed.
these campaigns are an encouraging sign, he says,
That sense of being responsible.
that sometimes it's a good thing when something is, as they say, for the birds.
We need to do all that we can now.
When we come back, 2 teens rescue a driver from a burning car.
And Ukraine continues to fight against Russia's attack on Mariupol. Stay tuned for the details.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
Near Sanctus Spiritus.
I've got a good feeling about this one.
Hey, Maddie, miss me?
Wait, Bud?
What was that all about?
An old friend.
An old friend?
Good to see you, brother.
What the hell are you doing?
That's your lucky day.
Two people were killed and at least 9 others injured in a shooting at a Pittsburgh Airbnb. The Airbnb was being rented out for a party that was mostly underage kids. There were around 200 people in the building at the time. Police found multiple rifles and pistols on the scene and say as many as 50 shots were fired. Investigators have been collecting evidence from around the area, but no suspects have been identified so far.
In New Hampshire earlier this weekend, a car went up in flames. 2 boys who saw the event unfold took action. CNN's Scott Cook has the details.
Vincent and Jake Heck were traveling with their family from Hillsborough to Maryland to enjoy the holiday weekend. They left bright and early Friday morning, and when passing through Nelson, New Hampshire, they witnessed a pickup truck swerve off of Route 9 and crash into a large rock.
I immediately told my mom to pull over, and before she even stopped the vehicle, I jumped right out and ran over.
19-year-old Vincent rushed to the driver's side door, where he found an unconscious man. 16-year-old Jake checked the back of the truck for any passengers before helping his brother carry the man away from the smoking truck.
The car, literally after I got him out, 5-10 seconds later, the car all went up in flames.
The teens then carried the man further away from the burning vehicle and used CPR techniques to open his airways so that he could breathe better before paramedics arrived.
By the time I got there, the vehicle was fully involved. If that individual was still in there, that individual never survived the incident.
I'm very proud of them. They did a great job, and they worked very good as a team. It was nice to see that.
Praise for the teens has poured in from fire and police departments across the state, but the brothers themselves don't consider their actions heroic.
I consider my brother a hero. I did what I could do. If it wasn't for my brother getting him out of that car, he would not have survived. I was not fast enough to get to the guy.
I just think I'm doing what any normal human being should do. I just hope somebody would do the same for me.
Police found 3 gold medals stolen from a U.S. Paralympian's car on Saturday night. San Antonio authorities said Jen Lee was robbed in a smash and grab. Lee went to Twitter and posted footage of the incident and was surprised by the response across the community.
I was thinking maybe 1 or 2 response and maybe some shares. And I had no idea this spark became like a wildfire.
There's been no word if a suspect is in custody. Police plan to release more information later today.
It seems like last week's crazy weather is finally all behind us.
I'm definitely hoping for sunny skies ahead. I bet our weather anchor Sydney Deshawn knows what's in store. What can you tell us, Sydney?
Unfortunately, we will not be seeing that much sun this week in the forecast, but I will break that down later in the show. Currently, let's go ahead and take a look at our temperatures across North Texas. We can see that we have temperatures ranging from the low to mid 60s. Again, it's a lot chillier than it has been in the past, with Fort Worth being at 65, Dallas being at 63, and McKinney being at 61. Now let's go ahead and zoom out to our state map. We are seeing some more inconsistent temperatures, with El Paso being very warm at 84 and Amarillo being fairly chilly at 57 degrees. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our full weather forecast. Now today, we will be seeing a high of 74 and a low of 47, and tomorrow we can expect some showers in the afternoon. Now Wednesday and Thursday, our sun will be out with a high of 87, but on Friday, we will be seeing those clouds coming back in, and Saturday and Sunday, we do have an 80% chance of rain. So if you do plan on going out this weekend, make sure that you pack your rain boots, pack a light jacket with you, pack whatever you can so you can be prepared for the rain that is coming up. But that is all I have for our full weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. Thousands of Ukrainians have been forcibly deported into Russia, the same country that is bombing and killing them. Some refugees fled into the country, saying it was the only way to survive. CNN's Salma Abdelaziz spoke to one family that first fled to Moscow, then was later smuggled into Poland.
Mila Turshin does not trust the man she's about to meet.
Добрий день.
He is a smuggler.
Я Люда.
She is anxious, looking for her mom and sister, hoping they are here.
Привет. Нет. Привет. Так, стоп. Де мама?
It's Vida, her sister. Brief joy. But there's no time to hug her mom.
Та.
The smuggler wants to be paid now.
Раз, два, три.
$500 US for the pair. Much more than most families fleeing war can afford.
Добре, добре. He doesn't want us.
We pull away with her mom Luba. We don't want our presence to cause problems.
Mila?
Away from our camera, Mila is extorted for more cash.
Ад. Кромешный ад был. Перестань, пожалуйста.
Getting to safety is dangerous. This is the story of one family's escape into Russia after its troops bombed and occupied their city. They are from Izum, a city under siege. Mila's phone was filled with videos like this. Living in Cleveland, Ohio, she had no way to call her family, no way to find out if they were alive.
So this is your room?
We first met Mila a day earlier at this refugee shelter where she volunteers.
Somebody saw that a missile actually hit my backyard. And I was crying so bad. I just don't know. Maybe they're dead already there.
How did you deal with that?
I came to Poland to take that energy and convert it into something.
She finally got a call, but it was not from Izum.
I heard them for the first time after a whole month. I was so torn. I was happy they're alive, but I was terrified that they're in Russia. And I don't know, should I be happy or should I be sad?
Mila's only option, she says, was to hire a smuggler to drive her family from Russia to safety here in Poland.
Somebody from Poland gave me a number of people who transport smuggling, basically. So obviously, it's dangerous. Dangerous activity in Russia, very dangerous.
Now they are reunited. But how did the victims of Putin's war
end up in Russia. Desperate to flee, they tell us they could only find one way out. A private driver offered a ride to the Russian border.
Now they filled me into details, and it actually was even worse than I thought. And I already was terrified.
Were you scared to go to Russia?
They were more afraid to stay where they were because it was hell, and they needed to go somewhere to escape that.
Thousands of Ukrainians have faced the same. Many say they had no choice. It was go to Russia or die.
In Ukraine, Russia continues their assault on the city of Mariupol. Ukraine recently rejected a Russian order to surrender. In response, Russian military said any further resistance will be eliminated. Ukrainian President Zelensky has discussed the worsening conditions in the city and those who are defending it.
The situation is very difficult in Mariupol. It's clear that things won't get better. With each passing day, it's growing more unstable. Unfortunately, it is difficult for different reasons. I will not talk about the cruelty with which the Russian authorities have treated Mariupol, the Russian military.
According to a Mariupol advisor, Russian forces say no one will be allowed in or out of the city, and the men left inside will be filtered, meaning relocated for screening by Russian troops. Coming up, find out why the federal income tax deadline was moved to today for most Americans.
And how the new dean of the House is working to make Congress more civil when we come back.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh? Eh?
Man, I have all these non-perishable food items and I don't know what to do with them.
I don't have any food at all.
Do you have too many non-perishable goods?
Yeah.
Have you run out of food and can't get any more?
Yeah.
Well, don't have a cow. Head on down to the UNT Food Pantry. Located behind Crumley Hall and Diamond Eagle Student Resource Center, the Food Pantry is the place for UNT students to get all the food they need. You'll be utterly surprised by all the options they have there. From gluten-free to lactose intolerant, even vegan and vegetarian, they have it all. Go to studentaffairs.unt.edu/food pantry for more information.
Move on down to the UNT Food Pantry.
Today is the deadline for most Americans to file federal income taxes. Surpassing the usual deadline, setting the date at April 15th, Americans now have 3 extra days to file federal taxes. Easter Monday is not considered a federal holiday, so be certain to have your return postmarked before midnight tonight. Today's deadline is not set for everyone. April 19th is the set deadline for taxpayers who reside in Maine or Massachusetts because of their state celebration of Patriots' Day. The IRS are encouraging Americans to file returns electronically due to the extended process of a paper return. The need to factor in the child tax credit, cryptocurrency income reports, and the third stimulus check has made this year's return process a little more complicated than usual. The IRS has also extended the deadline for victims of the Colorado wildfires as well as tornado victims in Illinois, Kentucky, and Tennessee until May 16th.
The new dean of the U.S. House of Representatives is pledging to make Congress more civil. Representative Harold Rogers, who had served in Congress for 42 years, is officially the new dean of the House. The position goes to the longest-serving member of Congress with the recent death of the previous dean, Don Young, of Alaska. With his new position, Rogers will also have the duty of swearing in the new speaker every 2 years. Though it is largely ceremonial, the dean also has the informal role of setting the values of the institution. New Jersey Representative Christopher Smith actually tied with Rogers for length of service in the House, but Congress used a unique tie-breaking system, the alphabet. So Rogers won because his name came first.
Today is the 126th running of the Boston Marathon. This year's marathon features participants from every state in the U.S. and 122 countries around the world. They have actually already started, and I know they're loving every bit of it. CNN's Matt Reed reports.
Running the marathon, walking down a packed Boylston Street to take a photo at the finish line.
I have done it 13 times, but I have not been back here in 15 years.
For some of those like me, it's our first chance to run Boston after 6 years of blood, sweat, and tears.
It truly is a family affair, especially for the first-timers, including Saugus's very own Casey Hyde.
Growing up, because it's always school vacation, so I always had the day off and stuff, always watching it on TV.
The history and magnitude of this race just as powerful for the pros. Including American Molly Seidel, who lived in Boston for nearly 5 years after college and won bronze in the 2020 Summer Games in Tokyo.
It's really meaningful, feeling like I'm coming home, getting to be on a course that I trained on so much and watched every year. Kind of learned how to be a pro runner out here and just got immersed in just everything that is Boston running. It's what made me move to the marathon, honestly.
And while Seidel may have a home field advantage, every runner should get a boost from these crowds.
Watching my mom do a marathon.
Oliver, what's that like being out here? Who have been waiting 3 years for the marathon to return to Patriots Day.
Every time I go on a workout, I'm running for Boston. I'm going to get to Boston. So I've been training for it for a long time.
I appreciate all the people of Boston, and y'all definitely know how to make your marathons feel like rock stars.
Have you ever ran a marathon, Jalen?
Yeah, I actually have. I even got first place. Maybe our sports anchor, Ashton Cotton, has ran in one too. Ashton?
No, I haven't. First place is impressive, but I know some runners who could blow all three of us out of the water. I have more on UNT's track and field right after the break.
Hey man, are you okay in there? You look terrible. Have you been up all night? Don't you know that according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, staying up all night can have a negative effect on your GPA?
Sleep?
Yeah, go to bed.
Six. 7. Hey, didn't see you there. Just finished my 100th rep. You ready to train? Yeah! You got your weights? Yeah! You got your energy drink? Of course. You got time to go to the Pole Recreation Center? Yeah, what?
Listen, I didn't even graduate high school. I can't teach for the life of me. Instead, UNT is offering workout classes at a moderate pace, including yoga, cycling, Pilates, and more. Don't rely on your dad's old workout videos. Check out the UNT Rec Center today.
North Texas Track and Field highlights distance runner third consecutive win in his 2022 outdoor season. UNT's Victor Neva set the school record in the men's 10,000 meter run with a time of 29 minutes, 19 seconds, and 34 milliseconds. Some of his outdoor season's best include the mile with a time of 4 minutes, 39 seconds, and 59 milliseconds, the 3,000 meter run with a time of 4 minutes, 58 seconds, and the 3,000 meter steeplechase with a time of 9 minutes, 34 seconds, and 46 milliseconds. The men's 4x100 meter relay also took home a win to highlight North Texas Track and Field California swing this weekend at the Mount Sac Relays and the Beach Invitational in Walnut, California. It was a good weekend. Director of Track and Field Carl Sheffield said, "It was a weekend that we needed to take. California offers a lot of opportunities to work on some things before we get to the big part of the championship year." End quote. The rest of the UNT team will be back in action next weekend, April 22nd to 23rd at the Michael Johnson's Invitational in Waco, Texas. In women's collegiate sports, around this time a year ago, the UNT women's golf team was heading to Florida in an unfamiliar territory. Means Green were the highest ranked team in Conference USA heading into the championships. A team whose success aspired through hard work and dedication promised to set out one goal: to win. The thought of actually winning is a ring was still a dream in most aspects for the program. Last year, UNT entered the final round in the championships tournament 4 shots back in second place and still managed to secure a title. At the time, junior Audrey Tan birdied a hole 16 and 17 to win the invitational title by 1 stroke. Here is Audrey Tan and what she explains to be her early start up into the world of golf.
I was born in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It's a little small country in Southeast Asia, and my family has always been super into sports. I have a twin brother, so that's how I grew up with him playing similar sports and competing with him. My dad got my brother and I into golf when I was 6, and then I transitioned. I did tennis, I did rhythmic gymnastics, swimming, taekwondo, and then I finally went back to golf.
In America, at least, it seems like we're specializing too young. Like we're seeing elementary school kids get pushed into one sport. I think that's a travesty, and really would like kids to play a lot of different sports growing up to become well-rounded.
She didn't start playing golf super young. She got into golf a couple of years before college. She was so good so fast. So she's just an overall great athlete.
I did rhythmic gymnastics when I was in school. So when I was 9, and I did it until I was about 12. Sooner or later, your body kind of gives out in rhythmic gymnastics, which is very physically demanding. So that's why I think I ended up going with golf, just the longevity of the game.
UNT's head coach Michael Akers states, "I often joke about how far this program has come. We are now the team to beat in Conference USA. A few years ago, we were just trying to beat anyone." Beginning today, Monday, April 18th until Wednesday, April 20th, the Mean Green has their eyes set on preparing as champions on both fronts in the Conference USA Championship tournaments. That's all for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ashton. The Cincinnati Zoo announced that Bibo the hippo is pregnant. The baby hippo is expected to arrive sometime this summer. Fiona, the zoo's social media star, will now be a big sister. Fiona became a worldwide sensation back in 2017, 6 weeks after she was born. The hippo was born early and weighed a quarter of the weight of a typical hippo of that age, but now is strong and thriving. Officials at the zoo say they were not expecting Bibi to get pregnant this soon because she is on prevention medication. However, scientists from the Center for Conservation and Research of Endangered Wildlife are keeping a close watch on Bibi. Man, baby hippos are so cute. I wouldn't put it past it if this new calf became as much of a social media star as her sister.
Wow. I actually can't believe a hippo became a social media star before me.
Don't worry, Jalen. Your time will come soon.
I hope so.
Thanks for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tomorrow for the latest coverage here at North Texas Television.